This battery will cost you $383. That's very cheap and explains why the Dumfume is such a popular battery. This is the box it came in. As you can see, there's a dent on the right, but there was no damage to the battery itself. This is not a Bluetooth battery. When I first look at the sales page, the second image had a phone with the app, but it's only for the heated version. This version does not have any Bluetooth app. Dumfume has been known to rate the capacity lower than the cells inside. There was a version of 300 amp hours and they were using 280 amp hour cells. So let's see if there's actually 314 amp hour cells inside of this battery. When I got the battery, I charged it up and I reached 14.3 volts. So that's a good sign. I then did a capacity test at point 2C and I got 4164 watt hours. That's 325 amp hours or about 4% above the rated capacity. So that's a good start. Let's measure the internal resistance of the battery. And we're having 2.06 milliohms. That's very good, which might indicate they're using tier 1 quality cells. I already did a parallel discharging test with the dyness battery and it is sharing the current correctly, so we don't need to test that again. Now I will be opening up the lid to see what's inside. I was able to open up the lid of this battery without using the multi-tool. I saw a guy on YouTube who had a technique of opening up the battery without damaging it. So he took his screwdriver and put it horizontally and hit it with a hammer. And then when he felt enough resistance, he put the screwdriver vertically and hit it again until he felt resistance of the inside of the case. And then he used leverage to open up the lid. And then he did it all the way around. However, I recommend starting on this side of the battery. Here are the battery terminals and the cables might be in the way, or you might accidentally hit the cable with your screwdriver. And when I open up the lid, it looks very similar to other batteries I have tested, like the humsienk and the dyness. So let me take those batteries and have a comparison. So I was opening up the lid and I removed the negative cable from the terminal post. And it only has a washer. There's no lock washer. And then the second issue is on the positive terminal. The glue is around the bolt. So the glue is not touching the bolt or holding it in place against vibrations. So I suspect they put the glue there first and then tightened the bolt. Because you can see the glue is not touching the bolt itself. Can you spot the difference between these three batteries? You're right, the handle is not in the same location. We have the humsienk, the dyness, and this is the Dumfume. I scanned the cells and they are made by Cornex. It's not a tier 1 cell manufacturer as I thought in the introduction. But you can't really expect a tier 1 cell in such a budget battery. And the production date is September 2025, so about 9 months old. That's good. Let's now take out the cells from the case and take a look at the BMS. No way. The BMS is the same as the dyness. That's not a good sign. They put their sticker on here. Let's show you the dyness. As you can see, they're the same. Let's check the numbers. And yes, same code, same production date, same design date on the PCB. And I can see the same balance resistors. We calculated that the dyness had a balancing current of 35 milliamps, and in the review video we could only see 22 milliamps for the balancing current. So this, when it's the same BMS, it will perform bad as well. I found the datasheet of the BMS, and the balance start voltage is set at 3.525 volts. That's way too high in my opinion. Because if you're not in absorption or not charging the battery, so if you're taking off the charging sources, it will only take a few minutes to drop below the balance start voltage, and you will never be able to balance your battery. Secondly, the balance current is 35 milliamps, so they're the same. That is way too low, and in my practical test about the dyness, I showed it was a maximum of 22 milliamps. And another reason that the BMS is bad, that the voltage cutoff for the low cell is set to 2.3 volts. Normally, it should be set to 2.5 volts. Most inverters have a cutoff voltage of 11 volts. So you don't have to worry about that kind of protection. But if you have a Victron inverter, it can drop down to 9.3 volts on the input. So you will be damaging the cells without knowing it. And another issue is that the MOSFET high temperature is set to 105 degrees Celsius. In my previous test, I thought it was set to 95 degrees Celsius. But that was not the case. The MOSFET high temperature should be set to 95 degrees Celsius, not 105. Stefan made a video on my previous video about measuring the balancing current of the BMS, and he showed me a more accurate way of measuring it with a 1 ohm resistor in series. So let's measure the balancing current. And we're measuring about 27 milliamps. So that's lower than the stated 35 milliamps in the datasheet. So would I recommend this battery? At this moment I don't. The cells are high quality, pulling 4% more than what they're rated for. The build quality overall is very good. However, the BMS is lacking. The balancing current is not enough to balance these big cells, and the BMS settings need some changes as well. If you want to know my recommended batteries, I will leave a link in the video description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.